That's right. The Masked Raider and the Superstar. Right here, you're going to get the best interview of the masked wrestlers, the Masked Raider, and the Masked Superstar right here at your community cable, Revere TV. So don't forget to watch us and watch us on YouTube. We'll be back. We'll be back with them. We'll be back with them. We're coming right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Revere TV, Empire Pro Wrestling, and all the great things. Whether it's here, there, everywhere. It might be Saugus. It might be Malden. It might be Lynn. Might be Everett. You never know where we're going to go. So remember one thing. If you want to see the best there is in independent wrestling, let me tell you, all the great names that have been there, the Warlord, Demolition, the Bushwhackers. Oh, yeah, we had them all here. We've had all the big names, whether it be the Iron Sheik, cameraman, zoom in on these. Well, we can't say what he says, but number one thing, if you want to see the best there is in independent wrestling, we ride them all, we've shot them all, and remember, we got some great new shows coming up. Hey, we're back here. You better believe it. You better get going now. You better get your cookies and milk. You better turn it on. Yeah, you better come on down. We're shooting out of Revere TV, but you know we're going all over like Coca-Cola, whether it be Lynn, whether it be Saugus, whether it be Salem, I don't know, Malden, I don't know, Everett. Could be on anywhere. It could be on right now for all we know. It could be on everywhere, but remember, Google me on YouTube, Rocky Raymond on YouTube. You'll see it all shot and tall, whether it be the Mac Classics from the Boston Garden, MSG. You might see it all shot and tall, but you got to remember one thing. The Combat Zone will always live with Tony Rumble, who's been gone 25 years, Richard Burns, 14, John Cronus, Steve Bradley, Kevin Hughes, Bill Rossi just passed away. He was on my show, The Memories of the Boston Guard. You know those shows, but right now we got a great masked wrestler of all time, the Superstar. Great to have you here, Superstar.
My pleasure, my friend. Good
all
to
right.
see you. Good
and
to see
remember
you.
one thing, the Masked Raider wants a shot at you. I heard the Masked Raider's after you.
He might be after me, but I'm in retirement now.
You're in retirement?
That's right.
I don't know about that. I've seen you against them all. I've seen you against Antonio Inoki. I've seen you against all the great things. And your best match, I know, was not against Mil Máscaras, but I think the one from Japan, when Antonio Inoki, or maybe that was in Sam Houston's in Texas. Is that what it was? One of the? Oh, that was Máscaras. Yeah, that was Máscaras. That guy that jumped up and down like, boom. Oh. He don't know how to sell. But let me tell you, he sold for the Superstar. That's right, because you know why? He put him in his place. Now tell us right now. Come on, tell us a couple of things, Superstar. Tell us who was your toughest opponent in the mask.
Probably one of my toughest opponents had to be Andre the Giant. I had a number of matches with Andre. Blackjack Mulligan. Ricky Steamboat.
Ricky Steamboat. He had that great match at WrestleMania with the Macho Man.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
I had a series of matches with the Mighty Igor.
Oh, the Mighty Igor. That was with, was that down with, what was the name of that group?
Mid-Atlantic.
Mid-Atlantic.
I had a couple matches with Lex Luger, Angelo Mosca, Dino Bravo, Antonio Inoki.
That's my favorite.
Fujiwara, Sakaguchi. My trips back and forth to Japan. I was in Japan probably 42 trips.
Wow.
So, fortunate.
Wow, you really, let me tell you, you took some great bookings with all these great things that you've been around as the mask, with the mask. And let me tell you, all these people don't realize it. It's not the Dick Byers. He was great in Japan too. He had a great run in Japan, that Dick Byers.
He did.
And then, the other guys that you had that you were tag teaming in 1982 with the Super Destroyer, I believe it was. And that was one of the Irwin brothers.
Scott Irwin.
Scott Irwin. And he had a bad situation going on, but his brother had the situation going on. He's still alive, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And his brother is the one that had the situation with, I believe, some kind of technical situation that took his life from him. But those guys were a great tag team. They were known as the Long Riders. Matter of fact, because
Yeah.
I took that Long Riders name and I gave it to my friend Frankie G, and I started calling him the Long Rider because Frankie G had the motorcycle. Brum, he gave me a ride up the hill one time. I kept bugging him. 21 years, I was not even 18, 19 maybe. Give me a ride up the hill. Give me a ride up the hill. I never been on a motorcycle since then, and I'm 65 this year. 65, and there's no jive, and there's the last show, so don't let it go. We're going down the combat zone later on. Oh, no, we're not. I'm only joking. We're going up to Maurice, Ristorante de Maurice, tutti italiani. We're going to get a 5-course meal. I'm getting veal pie with raviolis. I'm getting some tiramisu. I'm getting one of those drinks to keep you awake. And who knows? We might get it on the way back. And then tomorrow, we're going for some more food because this isn't no wrestling tour. This is an eating tour with Rocky Raymond and the Masked Man. And we got them all right here. 1 and 2, the best 2 interviews you're going to see here. The last 2 you're going to see from me live right here in Technicolor, right here at Revere TV. Now, come on, tell us a couple of more things. Tell us your worst moment and your best moment as the superstar.
Oh, I don't recall the worst moment. I've had many, many, many good moments as, in the wrestling business, traveling all over the world, seeing historical places. I'm a big history buff, so I enjoy that. I love the Boston area because of the history. And all throughout the United States, I take my time and don't sit around a hotel. I go and get involved in the natural history of the area.
Well, let me tell you something. I know you've been from coast to coast and border to border. I remember when you wrestled Bob Backlund in the Boston Garden. You picked him up, you turned him, you twisted him, you squeezed him out like the Three Stooges movies when they were doing the pet thing. They were doing cleaning dogs, and Mo got the dog and he turned him like that. But Bob Backlund was no joke. If he wanted to be tough, he could be tough. You know that.
Bob was a good professional athlete, very strong. Probably one of the strongest guys I ever got in the ring with. Matter of fact, that was my first big match in the territory. Was right here in the Boston Gardens.
Boston Garden. I remember I got the program. I'm going to find it, but I was looking for it. I'm going to find that program. I'm going to send it to your house along with some other thing. I know I got the one with Bruno and Andre, too.
Yeah, I did about 3 or 4 TV sessions. And my first live audience match was here in Boston Gardens.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Good memories.
And what do you think the house was that night? Not that, I mean, you think it was a good house for Bob Backlund, being that he was the secondary champion? Because on that night, I think Bruno was in like the semifinal or something against somebody.
I don't recall, to be honest with you.
But
when you're in the, you know yourself, when you're involved in the match, and the lights go down, you can't see past the 3rd or 4th row anyway, because if you're gawking through the audience, your opponent's going to beat the crap out of you.
Well, the lights don't go too low now because they got, all the lights and all the things that they got going on with it, with the lights and the light show and the angles, and they got more cameras. You got 3 this way, 3 that way. You got that shot, you got this shot, but they don't commentate. They don't call the moves. I mean, they work so hard in the ring and they don't call the shots. They're talking about this or that or some other stupid thing, but the filming is far-fetched. But some of the great masked wrestlers back in the day did they ever have the masked guy against the masked guy feud? Because, they have the feuds against, the tag teams and everything. But
oh, yeah.
Did they ever have, like, the superstar against somebody?
In Georgia, it was a masked superstar against Wrestling 2.
Wrestling 2, yeah.
They had that program going on for well over 2.5 years.
Wow.
So, had great matches. And then Wrestling 1 was there. That wasn't as long
Tim
as
Woods?
2. Yeah.
He was great. Tim Woods was great. Was Tim Woods in that airplane crash? No, that was Berger. That was the other guy named with the B. Something Berger, the one that was in the plane crash with Flair. And they found the note in
Ruggers?
Yeah, and they found a love note or something in someone's bag or something. Some weird thing happened with that.
That was before me, so.
That was, the plane crash, and Johnny Valentine put his hands up like that. That's how he got hurt and everything like that. But Ric Flair's been quite lucky, Mr. Flair. Only thing is, you should get your teeth fixed. That's what with all that money. And he got the suit. He got the suit thing. He got the marijuana dispensary. And all he needs now is a little drilling going on with the situation. But he's come a long way, and he's lucky. He's had more luck than Lucky Charms, if you will. Because a couple of years back, he almost bit the bullet.
Yeah.
And he's lucky he come back from it. But now he's smoking weed with Tyson. They're smoking the big bobbles, the big bottle. Oh, yeah. But who knows? But getting back to 82, tag teaming. Jimmy Snuka was in that territory, Mid-Atlantic, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other great names. And was the Booker?
George Scott.
George Scott. And then when did the guy take over there, the Horseman? You know, he was part of the Horsemen. He was one of the original Horsemen.
Ole Anderson.
Ole Anderson, yeah. When did he take over?
George left and went into WWF at the time. So it was probably a couple years after that, like 84 maybe.
George Scott was a genius, and what was the other guy's name that he was making fun of him a lot with the glasses, the big square glasses? What was his name? You know, the Booker. He was, playing, you know, he talked like the boys.
Oh, that was the guy from Australia, Jim Barnett.
Yeah, Jim Barnett. He ran Australia, and Kevin Sullivan used to say, he'd say, all I got to do is get the black marker or the black makeup and go over the blade marks, and he'd give me more money. He'd say, oh, wow, look what you did to your hand, you did, and then they'd give him more money.
I never heard that story.
Well, Kevin Sullivan had plenty of them, especially when he started getting into that organic feeling with him and Mark Lewin. I wrestled Mark Lewin in Florida when he come out of the water with, what was it, the purple something? Purple, whatever.
Hayes?
They called him the purple something. He came out of the water and he put the purple suit on, and then they had Reverend Black, and that devil worshipping went a long way in Florida, let me tell you, boy. But getting back to you in Australia. Now, what were the matches in Australia like? And as far as I know, Bruno, though, he was a little cocky. He said, well, I want this and I want that, and if you don't give me that, I'm not going to come.
No, I was never in Australia.
Oh, you never wrestled in Australia?
No.
Okay.
Was supposed to go a couple times, but it didn't materialize because I was going back and forth from Mid-Atlantic and Georgia and Japan and Canada a lot. So.
Now, did you make your own deal in Japan, or did you go through an agent or anybody? Or
no. I made my own arrangements. The first tour, I went as a tag team as the Mongols. Guido broke me in, but then after that, I always went over as Mass Superstar and negotiated my own arrangements.
Now, how did you meet? I know it was out of Pittsburgh, and you were from Pittsburgh. How did you meet Guido? And what was his real name? The skunk he wrestled as a skunk?
Newton Tatry.
Excuse me?
Newton Tatry.
Newton Tatry.
Yeah. He was the owner of the company at that time.
The company being out of Pittsburgh with
Out
Bruno?
of Pittsburgh, yeah.
And then Bruno bought it off him?
No, he bought it from Bruno.
Oh, he bought it from Bruno. Okay, cool.
And my next door neighbor was one of the athletic commissioners. So we went to the matches, and he introduced me to Guido. Guido asked if I was interested in getting into wrestling, and 6 weeks later, I'm training and I'm in the business.
Now, where were you training out of? A YMCA? I mean, there was no schools back in those days.
He had a gym.
He had a weightlifting gym?
He had a gym with a ring full of equipment, dressing areas. He trained 3 or 4 other guys, too. Larry Sabisco trained there, myself, 4 or 5 guys that really never made it in the business or were just local Pittsburgh area guys.
Yeah, there was that little short guy, Fazio.
Jim,
Something Fazio, I believe.
DeFazio.
DeFazio, yeah, something like that. I know he was friends with Bruno.
Yeah. Johnny DeFazio.
Yeah, Johnny DeFazio, I know that, but I remember that name. But being down in Pittsburgh, Wasn't that DuPont that was starting the TV back then? Or was it DuPont or was it something like that? Or, I know there was Wrestling from the Chase.
Well, this was studio wrestling from Channel 11. Live 90-minute show on Saturday. It would go from 6 to 7:30 live. So.
Did you ever wrestle in St. Louis at the Chase?
A couple times, yeah, a couple times. Not that often.
And how about the area with Bosch?
Yes, we were out there.
Texas, right?
Yeah, but Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston, exactly.
3 or 4 times. But that was when I was going in and out of Mid-South for Bill Watts. So.
Yeah.
But I never stayed there. I'd go in, do a couple events, and then leave.
Now, did you ever work for the Von Erich,
No.
the father?
Nope. Never met any of them until later on in my career. Never met the father. Briefly met the first one that died. And
Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. So.
That was over in Japan, and they were trying to, I guess Bruiser Brody was throwing the pills down the toilet or something to some effect of,
I don't know.
You know, something to that effect. That's what the rumors were, I guess. But that was a tragic family to come up with that DVD, the history of the Von Erichs. And boy, were they hot, huh? That was a hot territory.
Oh,
boy.
yeah. That territory was booming. And I think that there's coming out with some kind of a documentary now that's being released.
Really?
Yeah.
On the Von Erichs.
On the family.
I know that the one that's alive now, the one that used to wrestle barefooted all the time, he's looking kind of old, but he's down in Hawaii enjoying himself, I guess.
Yeah, his 2 boys are in the business.
Yeah. And I don't know what territory. I mean, I know there's got to be something running in Texas. I mean, how could it not be?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a wrestling territory that was just unbelievable. When that came on Saturdays, I remember back in the day because they were going to rent my ring, and it was between me and Tony Santos. And Santos, you know, being the way wrestling is, the profession of wrestling, not the business, because I always considered it a profession and not, you know, business. It was a profession, professional. That's why they called it professional wrestling. But back in the day, they had it going on, and Santos said, well, if you don't use my ring in Lynn, and I will not use the ring for New York. There was 2 shots, and I wasn't going to New York with my monster. And the ring broke in Lynn, didn't it? You know why it broke? Because the one-man gang hit the corner in that junk piece of Santos ring there. And they were all holding it up in the match, one-man gang. I think it was Brody and the one-man gang. I don't remember, but the ring broke. See? Should have rented my ring. But anyways, that was a long time ago in Manning Bowl, and boy, that was packed. Boy, they had that place packed out, Manning Bowl. Oh, boy.
And remember, watch the Mac Classics from the Boston Garden.
Here's the man, Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. 295 pounds. This man is the man that defeated Bruno Sammartino back in 1971. Bruno Sammartino was the Russian Bear. There's the bell. And we're head for some great action here in this match. Collar and elbow tie-up as the Russian Bear pushes Sammartino back to the ropes now. Wild shot over the head now as Bruno ducks the forearm but gets caught with the clothesline to the back of the head now. Collar and elbow now as Koloff puts the arm bar on Bruno Sammartino and he's counting now with the leg. Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. Big boot to the midsection now and a heavy blow to the side of the head and the back of the living legend. That big deadly knee drop off the top rope. That's the one that finished Bruno back in 1971, Madison Square Garden. And Koloff now putting the boots to the small of the back of Bruno Sammartino. Big turnbuckle now as the crowd now not in the corner of Ivan Koloff. Irish whip out of the corner now as the Russian Bear shoots Sammartino into that steel corner post. And now referee John Stanley, one of the head referees here in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Sammartino snatches that side headlock on the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, as he shoots San Martino with the ropes now. Big shoulder tackle now as San Martino crisscrosses. Big body slam, scoop slam by the Russian Bear into a kick out now. Ivan Koloff, big arm drag by Bruno San Martino. Loves to work that arm now, San Martino. Many people in Boston know the hammerlock in the middle of the ring now. And he's got that arm bar on the Russian Bear. Shoots him in now, one shoulder tackle now. Into a big hip toss. Kick out by San Martino. Back on that arm drag. And the crowd loves this Abruzzi strongman. That's right, the Abruzzi strongman, Bruno San Martino, better known as the living legend, the box office king in Boston, New York. He sold out all the big arenas. This is professional wrestling. Like it says on the marquee, it's not wrestling entertainment. It's professional wrestling. They're crisscrossing now. Koloff, San Martino, big arm drag by the living legend. And John Stanley right on top of the action. Great referee now. All the great main events here in Boston. And San Martino cinches down on that armbar. And Koloff shoots him in again. Oh, the double tackle now. San Martino outside the ring. This is where it gets dangerous. This is where it doesn't become professional wrestling. It becomes a Donnybrook, and they're outside the ring now. San Martino trying to shake off that shoulder tackle. That 295-pound Russian slamming into him like a freight train. And he's putting the boots down hot and heavy onto the chest of the living legend. San Martino now starting to feel the wrath of the Russian, and he kicks him outside the ring again. Bruno San Martino, the living legend, the foundation of professional wrestling. This is the man that made it all come true for all the big stars that are in the wrestling business today. He made wrestling what it is, as Koloff in the corner now comes back into the ring. A couple of right hands followed up by a big right boot to the head of Koloff. And Koloff now going to get a taste of Bruno San Martino. Right hand sends it railing outside the ring. San Martino's coming out after him now. This could be dangerous. Oh, he rams him into those plexiglass security barriers outside the ring. And the crowd trying to get at the Russian Bear. Koloff trying to make his way back into the ring, and Bruno to no avail. Koloff outside the ring and San Martino in the ring. Big right hand, wild shot by Koloff. San Martino follows up with that big right hand. Double axe handle. Another right forearm sending Koloff off that ring apron down to that hardwood floor. That's right, there's no mats around the floor. This is the old WWF. Test the strength now into a big boot. And a right hand into Ivan Koloff's head. He's whipping him out of that corner. Irish whip. Hit that corner buckle. Oh, he ran into that big knee. That's the one. Koloff up for the finish. No. That's the one. He beat him in 1971. San Martino wasn't followed for that one. Falls up with a couple of right hands now. San Martino sends Koloff into the corner buckle. Right hand into the midsection. Irish whip by the corner now. Koloff sent to that corner buckle. Bruno follows him with that big high knee to the chest. Heavy blows. And he got him in the corner much like Muhammad Ali again. And he's got rights and lefts. Heavy blows to the back of the head now. Koloff begging off now. And the crowd wants more action here in Boston. They love San Martino here in the living legend. Here in the Boston Garden. Into a go behind. Sit up by San Martino. Falls up in a big leg dive. And he comes up with the knee now as San Martino's going to drive it down into the middle of the mat. Up again and drive it down, and he's working on that leg of Ivan Koloff. Oh, down on the hamstrings. Ivan Koloff feeling the wrath of San Martino, the Abruzzi strongman, and he's working on the leg now. The crowd's going crazy again. San Martino working on the leg now, trying to get Koloff down on one knee now, trying to make him buckle, but the big Russian Bear now, high elevation back body drop by San Martino. Stanley with a 2 count. And another lateral press by San Martino. Now he's going to hook that leg and put him in a half crab. Ivan Koloff now finds himself on a half crab. The crowd loves the action here in Boston with the great Mat Classics. I'm the voice of the Mat Classics, Rocky Raymond. As Koloff cinches up now, pulls the tights. Working on San Martino with those heavy feet now to the rib cage and the kidney area of Bruno San Martino. This is the man that beat Bruno back in 1971. Ivan Koloff proving to be the toughest opponent, the #1 contender here tonight in the Boston Garden. And a big boot to the midsection now. San Martino off the ropes. And another one fall into the midsection now. San Martino sent railing now. That big deadly leg. That knee drop across the midsection. And he got San Martino in that bear hug. Could this be the submission? Ivan Koloff, the Russian bear. And Stanley asking San Martino if it's all over as he gets down on his feet now. The agony on the face of Bruno San Martino, who has faced all the number one contenders, whether it be superstar Billy Graham, Ken Patera, Valentine, all the great names that Bruno has defeated here in Boston. And tonight he's got his hands full with the Russian bear, Ivan Koloff, as he's cinching deep with that Russian bear hug. As Bruno's starting to get the feel of the crowd now. The crowd's behind Bruno. As he claps the airs and breaks the hold. Oh, Koloff kicked him right outside the ring onto that hardwood floor. This is where it gets dangerous when they're out of that ring. It gets brutal. And another boot by Koloff. Not letting San Martino back in the ring now. And they're down near that timekeeper's table. It gets dangerous down there. Tables and chairs. Oh, a heavy blow to the right side of the head. And Koloff rammed into that table. That table's made out of 2x4s. Oh, he's got a chair. Oh, down across the head of San Martino. Koloff cracking San Martino. Unbelievable. John Stanley has just counted out the living legend Bruno San Martino. Koloff wins the match on a countout. Unbelievable. Ivan Koloff, the Russian bear, cracking San Martino on the head. Koloff wants the belt, but you can't win the belt on a countout. The winner, Ivan Koloff, by a countout.
Look at him go, man. He's the best. He's the best. He's done it all. He's been everywhere. He reinvented himself. He came up here in New York, took it by storm, went down south, bring it all around, do it again. With who? Handsome Jimmy Valiant. Tell him, Jimmy.
Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Rockin' Raymond on YouTube. Be there or be square. Oh, yeah.
Google us, baby. You're going to see the Valiant Brothers, all the great stuff from the Boston Garden, and you watch it. Google Rocky Raymond on YouTube, and you'll see the best of the Valiant Brothers, the legends from the Boston Garden. Be there.
Here at World Gym in Summer with the living legend Bruno San Martino. It's me, it's BBB, the only man that can bring the oldest, the best, the foundation of professional wrestling to Boston. Here he is, the living legend Bruno. Tell him a couple of words in Italian, Bruno.
Voilà, a tutti voi cari paesani di qui di Boston, sono tanto contento di trovarmi qui in Boston, vi saluto a tutti e vi ringrazio sempre per tutti gli anni fa che mi avete dato tanto coraggio e supporto qui a Boston.
And remember to watch Empire Pro Wrestling, the best of the best. The living legend's going to be there. The interview's coming. Watch it from 10 to 11 on the Grade 8 with who? The living legend.
Well, thank you, Rocky. Looking forward to it.
The best there is. Bruno San Martino, be there.
And we're back here. That's right. The battle for New York. It's all over again. Work, shoots, and double crosses. And boy, I get double crossed a lot. Let me tell you. We got one coming up right here in Madison Square Garden, July 16th. That's right. 1960. The attendance was 15,850. The gate was $45,092. The main event. Antonio Rocca and Ricky Starr beat Dr. Jerry Graham and Pampero Firpo 2-0. One fall by disqualification in 13 minutes and 29 seconds. Bruno San Martino and Ilio DiPaolo beat Chris and John Tolas. 3 falls by DQ, 2-1, 26 minutes and 46 seconds. Miguel Perez beat Doc Gallagher in 8 minutes and 15 seconds by DQ. Mike Gallagher beat Jose Romero, and that took 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Pat Kelly drew Charles Robinson, and that was 16 minutes flat. The Bavarian brothers, Harry and Rudy, beat Great Antonio. Was that big heavy-set guy. Big Antonio is a big heavy guy. And it was Lou Albano got beat by Jackie Fargo. And that was the Battle from the Garden. Notes, Vince McMahon and Taya Washington drew Buddy Rogers, Skullhead Murphy, Johnny Walker, Prince Maivia, Red and Lou Bastien, and Arnold Skaaland, in the name of few that was coming to Madison Square Garden in the future, and that was the Battle of the Garden, Chutes, and all the other double crosses from New York's Madison Square Garden.
This man weighs 450 pounds. He weighs in at 893 kilos. This man eats a lot and consumption of red meat. He is not on a diet. This man is Rico Man! Rico Man! This is Rico Man. This man, a man of big size, is coming into EPW. Rico Man, he is made of destruction. He will beat you down. He will twist you. He will take your neck and bang you down again, and then lift you up again and bang you down again. I'm the Boston bad boy. I got this man. He was in the mountains, in the bush. I went to the bush to get this man. He had sticks he was carving. He was carving things. He was cutting things. He was hunting animals. He was cutting their throat, drinking their blood to survive. Have you seen survival lately? You will not survive. Rico Man.
マスクドスーパースター、金と黒のコスチュームであります。ブラディファイトシリーズ後半のタイトル戦線、先週坂口が真に敗れたことによりまして大きく戦局が変わりました。今夜はタイトル戦線第2弾北米タッグ選手権がメインイベントに控えます。アントニオ猪木のテーマが流れました。控室の方向からちびっこファン、そして猪木のファンがぎっちりとその入場の花道を埋め尽くしました。猪木の入場です。花道を観衆におみくさにされながらゆっくりと歩を進めますアントニオ猪木。このシングル戦はこのシリーズテレビでは初顔合わせになります。アントニオ猪木対マスクドスーパースター、60分一本勝負、今夜のセミファイナルであります。猪木の通り道をぎっしりとファンが埋め尽くしまして、猪木は今やっとエプロンサイドに到着したところであります。リングに登りましたアントニオ猪木。これから両選手にテレビ朝日から花束が贈られます。さて今夜の放送席ですが、おなじみ東京スポーツ櫻井康夫さん、そして新日本プロレス山本浩さん、実況古舘一郎でお送りしてまいります。どうぞ二方よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。
猪木の研ぎ澄まされたテクニックか、それともスーパースターの桁外れのパワーか、注目の一戦であります。
本日のスペシャルイベントシングルマッチ60分一本勝負を行います。
これから両選手が紹介されます。
青コーナー280番マスクドスーパースター、
大型パワーファイターマスクドスーパースターがコールされました。黒のリングコスチュームを今脱ぎ捨てるところであります。堂々たる体育が見えます。そしてアントニオ猪木、ノエル・トーゴンがコールされました。コールと同時におなじみの濃いブルーのタオルを脱ぎ捨てました。櫻井さん、はい、この一戦はタイトル戦を抜きにしてもですね、はい、興味のある戦いですね。
そうですね、
はい、
実力から言いますとね、スーパースターもですね、猪木のタイトルに挑戦してもいいだけのものを持っている選手ですしね。
そうですね、
非常に内容のあるファイトになるんじゃないでしょうかね。
はい、山本さん、はい、今回猪木への正式な NWF のタイトル挑戦はなかった、はい、ここでスーパースターは力を見せつけたいというね。
そうですね、ノンタイトルでもですね、ここで猪木をやっつければですね、これはもう大変なもんですからね。
そうですね、はい、両選手がリングの中央です。猪木はひときわ厳しい表情です。両コーナーに分かれます。さあゴング鳴りました。満を持してまず猪木が飛び込みました。さあ出鼻をくじこうというのかアントニオ猪木、ゴングと同時に飛び出しました。コーナーに詰まります。スーパースターのパワーをかわすか猪木、距離を取ります。 山本さん、
はい、
猪木よく考えてますね。
そうですね、いいですよ。まあ今高橋レフェリーがですね、目をつつかれましたよね。猪木選手が暴れた時ですね、レフェリーも大変なんですよね。
そうですね、
私もレフェリーやってつくづく感じます。
カウント2です。速攻に出るかスーパースター。猪木がかわします。ハンマーロックに捉えました。リングの中央です。アントニオ猪木、10月4日新との LWF 決戦まですでに秒読み段階に入りました。櫻井さん、新戦の前にこのビッグファイターにスカッと勝ちたいでしょうね。
そうですね、今のね猪木の動き見てますとね、非常にフットワークもいいですしね、キレがいいですね。
山本さん、試合前にですね、調子はどうですかと聞きましたら、ご覧の通りですと、猪木選手特有のひょうひょうとした表情だったんですが、何かこう本当に新戦へ向けて力が入っているという感じがするんですがね。
そういうふうに言ってる時は調子いいんですよ。
依然としてハンマーロックに捉えています。
このスーパーデストロイヤーもね、アメリカでですね、非常に今実力的にですね、高く評価されましてね、もう US タイトルとかですね、太平洋ヘビー級選手権とかですね、そういったタイトルをね取ってる人ですからね、この猪木がね、このスーパー、あれですね、タイガー・ジェット・シンのね、仮想敵としてはですね、もういいんじゃないですか。
そうですね。
放送席古舘さん、
佐々木さん、
先ほどの新戦との話なんですけれどもね、猪木はですね、試合前とにかく10月4日の新戦までは負けるわけにはいけない、そういうところを見せると芯は突き上がると、そう言っておりましてね、そして今日はそういう意味でもこのスーパースターを破るんだと、そのフライングスリーパーをですね破る技を自分が持っていると、そういうふうに言っておりましたね。
そうですか、わかりました。山本さん、フライングスリーパーを防ぐ意味でもですね、今この腕殺しにいっているような気がするんですが、
そういうことにあります。これはやっぱり定石ですからね。それとこのスーパーはですね、マスコットスーパーはなんかシングルが得意とするような感じですね。もちろんタッグでもこれ一流プレーあれですからうまいですけどね、やっぱりシングルなんか得意みたいな感じがしますね、僕は。
そうですか。ドロップキック、顎の先端にヒットしました。猪木のドロップキック、鋭角的なドロップキックであります。ちょっとたじろいだがスーパースター。しかしマスクの上からは伺い知ることはできません。アームホイップに取りました猪木。アントニオ猪木は何としてもこのマスクドスーパースターのフライングスリーパーだけは食ってはいけません。恐るべきパワーを駆使しました殺人フルコースに乗ってはいけません。フライングスリーパーを特にかわすことは必須条件であります猪木。そういった意味でこの左腕殺しにいっているのか猪木。スタン・ハンセンのウエスタンラリアートと並びまして、一見単純にすら見える技が恐るべきフィニッシュ技になります。フライングスリーパー、これを食ってはいけません猪木。
それからですね、先週のタイガーシンがですね、油を塗ってですね、10月4日ですね、蔵前のやつですね、俺の状況を飲めっていうことですよね。今日猪木選手はですね、それを OK したんですよね。
そうですか。インドデスマッチですね。
そうです。その油塗るんですよね。で猪木選手最も嫌な試合方法なんですけど、その油もですね、父に聞いたところサロダテールっていうね、何か植物のですね、球根つですかね、それをなんかガラッとです。
徹底した腕付きに行っていました猪木。アリキック、左のももにアリキック。
こういう戦法はね、インドデスマッチでも通用しますね。
そうですね。そしてトーホールドに持っていくアントニオ猪木。館内からものすごい歓声、愛知県体育館。今度は左足を決めました。
この今のこれステップトーホールドって言うんですけど、レスリングで一番最初にですね足を殺すことを、の技の一番最初の技なんですね。これは、最も古い技なんですよね。
こうやって見てますと猪木は自分の動きを一つ確かめるように、基本的な技を繰り出してますね。
そうです。
腕への攻撃から今度は足攻めに行きましたアントニオ猪木。これも考えた作戦か。じわじわとスーパースターのスタミナを奪っていこうという作戦か。もう一回アリキックが決まっている。足を引きずるようにして倒れ込みましたスーパースター。軽々と返します。櫻井さん、まだまだ余力がありそうなんで、
そうですね、
油断しちゃいけませんね。
まあ今ねフライングクロスアタックがね、出たんですが、ちょっとね上がらないとかなりね足には来てるんじゃないでしょうかね。はい。
マスクドスーパースターがアントニオ猪木を軽々とリング下に放りまして本部席。
こういうファイトがね、このシンとの戦いのね試金石になりますね。
そうですね。はい、ボディスラムで本部席の机にアントニオ猪木の背骨を打ち据えました。素早くリング内に入りましたマスクドスーパースター。レフリーミスター高橋のカウントが入っています。山本さん、これは余裕を見てカウント内ギリギリで入ってもいいですね。
これはいいです。これでスーパー大回しに来てますね。
足へのダメージがあるのか、マスクドスーパースター。自分自身そのダメージを計算して早い勝負に出たか。リング内に猪木が入ります。クロスチョップからボールの体勢です。猪木がカウント2。ロープに振ります。フライングスリーパーが怖い。クロスアタックです。この大きな体でクロスアタック。初回が宙に飛びました。この大きな体で宙に浮くわけですからね。
そうですね。132キロありますからね。
さあ猪木は距離を取って戦ってもらいたい。接近戦で臨みますと、やはりパワーではマスクドスーパースターが上であります。今回のシリーズはタイトルマッチシリーズと言っていいほどビッグマッチが連続いたしました。そのために一つのタイトル戦が次のタイトル戦へと一つ一つ影響していきます。ネックブリーカードロップ、スーパースター特有のネックブリーカードロップ。この山本さん、腕を取って叩き落とすというのは効果ありますね。
相手に受け身を取らせないんですね。だから余計効果あります。
今度はベアハックです。怪力殺法です。密着プレーマスクドスーパースター。そして猪木コールです。愛知県体育館、猪木コールが飛びます。
猪木はね、スーパースターに攻めさせましてね、そこであれですね、ちょっとそのスーパースターの攻め疲れをね、タイミングを待っているという感じですね。
そうかもしれませんね。
かなり猪木のファイトぶりはね、攻め込まれてますが余裕がありますよ。
山本さん、あえて相手の今の櫻井さんのお話にもありましたように、相手の技を誘っているというような場面がありますか。
そういう作戦もありますからね。果たしてどういう作戦がですねいいかっていうのも、これもうやってる当時じゃないとわからないと思うんですよね。そういう臨機応変にですねできないとやっぱりチャンピオンじゃないですよね。
ボディにヘッドバットを奪いました。
落差がありますじゃないとちょっとできないですよね。そういうその相手を誘い込む作戦っていうのは。
さあ猪木のその余裕が対新戦につながりますか。もう一回ベアハックです。苦しそうな表情猪木、がっちりとベアハック。さあ右のカイナをこじ入れようという猪木です。この体勢からどういった返し技があるか。ちょうど四つに組み合う格好になりました。がっちりと組み合って投げを打った。きれいに投げを打ちました。猪木が返しました。ヘッドバットで返します。一進一退、スタミナがありますマスクドスーパースター。昨年の3月蔵前でこの両雄が戦いました。猪木の一瞬の起点で功を奏しましたが、バックブリーカーです。ロープサイド NWF 決戦、その時は猪木の一瞬の起点でこのスーパースターを破りましたが、スーパースターの強さがかなり印象に残った試合でもありました。
シンとのね戦いも迫ってきてますしね、この一戦猪木にとっては自分の耐久力をテストするという意味もあるでしょうね。
なるほど、マスクに手がかかります。アントニオ猪木、スーパースターのマスクに手をかけまして、それを剥がそうという体勢。館内がどっと来ています。リングの中央、
ここでねスーパースターのマスクを剥いだらよ、
さあフロントからフルネルソン、逆のフルネルソン、ロープに逃れましたスーパースター。山本さん、これは明らかにダブルアームスープレックスを狙ったんでしょうか。ブレンバスターだ。低い体勢からブレンバスター、軽々と返す。効いてませんね。
ちょっと低かったってことはありますけどね、しかしスタミナありますね。
恐るべきパワーに恐るべきスタミナでありますマスクドスーパースター。ドロップキックだ。今度は左顔面、ロープに足がかかっています。櫻井さん、 サードロープにすかさず足をかけるあたり冷静ですね。
そうですね、やはりね、このマスクスーパースターもね、百戦錬磨ですよ。
そうですね、
やはり東大のね、アメリカマットの第一線級のね、トップエメンターというのは、やはりファイトのね、いろいろな味がありますね。
そうですね、さあロープに振ります。フライングスリーパーが怖い。フライングスリーパーが出ました。これはどうだ。カウント2つ。マルタンボウのような腕が猪木の胸板。山本さん、これはジャンプするからこそ威力がありますね。
そういうことです。
ネックブリーカードロップ、畳み込むような大技の連発であります。かろうじて猪木が返した。
ちょっと危なくなってきましたね。
そうですね、
そこから逆襲していくあたりはね、やはりさすがスーパースターですね。
もう一回ロープに振る。さあどうだ。猪木がかわした。2発目はかわした。1発目は誘っていたのか。猪木冷静だ。
今のキックが来ましたよ。
猪木冷静です。体勢を立て直す隙を与えずにロープに詰める。レフェリーが割って入ります。さあ猪木はそれを聞きません。その隙にスーパースターがインターバルを取っていました。
もうすぐ立て直しますからね。
そうですね、非常にタフネスであります。マスクのスーパースター。サードロープ、セカンドロープ、足がかかった。フライングプレスは自爆。これも猪木がかわした。さあ猪木、このチャンスにもう一回マスクに手をかける。館内ものすごい歓声。マスクのスーパースターのマスクに手をかけた。さあちょうど顎の先端の部分が見えます。
古谷さん、芯が入ってきましたよ。
苦節してタイガージェット芯が入ってきた。タイガージェット芯、この後北米タッグ選手権を戦います。タイガージェット芯が乱入してきました。
これはね、真の単独行動ですね。
そうですね、
スーパースターと指名させてはいないと思いますね。
山本さん、これは正式な結果どういうことでしょう。
反則になるでしょうね、おそらく。
スーパースターのね、変わらずですね、自分の方へですね、助っ人が飛び込んできたということで反則ですね。
10月4日、猪木と真が戦いますが、その前にオマージュ真の乱入でありました。猪木はまだエプロンサイドで大の字です。ダメージはどの程度か。この後北米タッグを戦うタイガージェット真が入ってきました。猪木のダメージが心配です。山本さん、ちょうど左の肩口を押さえてますね。ちょうどサーベルで打ち込まれたところでしょうか。
鎖骨のところですかね。
正式な結果が入りました。試合の結果の方は15分32秒マスクドスーパースターの反則負け。猪木はかろうじて反則勝ちを拾いましたが、まだすっきりと立ち上がることはできません。10月4日の対新戦をめどにするならば、猪木は非常にここで不利な条件を背負い込みました。左の肩口を押さえています猪木。
おそらくね、このシンがね、猪木の試合を偵察してましてね、猪木のコンディションがいいということでですね、これを思わず飛び込んできたんじゃないでしょうかね。
そうでしょうね。山本さん、スーパースターを攻め込んでいた部分もあったんで、本当に残念ですね。
そうですね。
今猪木が立ち上がりました。
シンだけは本当にいい試合やってもなんともみんな潰しちゃいますね。
Hi, this is Greg the Hammer Valentine. What's in this corner with Rocky Raymond?
We're back, Empire Pro Wrestling coming at you. We got a great guy here. Color commentator coming down from Puerto Rico. All the Lucha Libre stars. We got Astro Man coming to the house. He might be appearing here in any of your local towns, so watch the newspaper. But right now, we want to have a couple of words to our Spanish-speaking friends from the Lucha Libre man himself, Manny.
No te pierdas todos los miércoles de 8 a 9 EPW. De 8 a 9 y de 9 a 10, las leyendas de la lucha libre.
No te la pierdas.
Back when they had first time I ever saw wrestling posters on a train, at the train in Riviera. They put posters on the train, which was probably incredible to do because, to put something up on the train, you had to know somebody.
Oh, yeah.
But those days of wrestling in Lynn, I started my show, EPW, Empire Pro Wrestling in Lynn, 1985 at the flea market. It was a roller rink, then it was a flea market, and went there and went on from there, and then speedways and so on and so forth. But
boy, I tell you, it's changed quite a bit compared to your day.
Yeah, things have changed. I think the guys are maybe a little more athletic nowadays, but I'm not too sure about the psychology of the business.
They don't know it. They don't know how to get the crowd up and bring them up and bring them down, and they got to get the heel to get the heat, and then you let the babyface make the comeback. Then you get that big pop. You know, you slam that heel on the first slam, and they go. If you do it 15, 16 times prior, it don't mean nothing. Same thing with the clothesline. Same thing with all the moves they do. They don't register it. It's like when you put money, you don't even register them like if you put money in the cash register, it goes cha-ching and the price comes up. But they don't register. They don't know. I don't know. Like I said, wrestling has changed, and the Masked Superstar's here. And I want all you people to realize that Rocky Raymond brings all the great stars in. These guys they're not just stars. They're premier wrestlers. These guys have done it all. From all the things that he's done, you'd need a week. And pretty soon we hope we come out with the book. And the book is going to be real thick. It's going to be thick, like some of the people's heads today. And remember one thing. If you don't vote for Trump, you're going to be in a hump. Come back together like birds of a feather. We need some help in this country. These things that are going on. Superstar, tell us what's going on down there in your part of the woods. It's crazy everywhere. It's crazy. What can we do?
It's sad because we were talking earlier, and something's got to change. Something's got to get back to normalcy. It's not. I often think of my dad, who was a military veteran, my uncle, my father-in-law. If they came back, I don't think they'd recognize.
Yeah, well, my friend talks about his father, great friend of mine, Mark Mandrake. Everyone knows him from Newbridge Cafe. You haven't had their steak, you haven't had their ribs, you haven't had their chicken limon, and you gotta have their salad with their salad dressing. We're going there tomorrow night. Tonight we're going to Molise, Restaurant Molise. We're gonna get the 5-course meal. Oh yeah, we're gonna have it all shot in 12 minutes from now. About 9 more minutes we got in the show. We're going to let you go. We're going to tell you all about the things in the future. And if you get lucky enough to see the Masked Superstar in any of his great matches from the past, or you see some of the great footage from Japan, it's incredible. No one has the background of this man. No one has done what he's done. No one has seen what he has saw. And no one will go where he has gone. You remember that. You remember the name, the Masked Superstar. You remember the masked name. Not like a Jim Byers or Mr. Wrestling or any of these other guys. The Masked Superstar, Bob Backlund, Boston Garden. I didn't film that one, but let me tell you something. It was a great match, and all his matches were great against Inoki. No mas, Chris. But let me tell you something. The Inoki stuff, the Japan stuff, Google them. You might see him in your part of the country. It might be one guy, might be another, but under it all, it's the man that has done it all. And you're not going to see too many wrestlers that have the background, the reputation, showing up on time, say what you mean what you say, do what you do, and that's what you do with the Masked Superstar. And I want to shake your hand right now.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much for coming down.
I appreciate it. Appreciate seeing you again.
Yeah, I love seeing you too. Maybe sometime I'll make a hook down into Georgia and you can take me for an ice cream.
You got a deal.
How's the restaurants down there in Georgia? Any good restaurants?
Oh yeah, you got all the Northerners moving down there.
Oh yeah?
So
yeah, huh? Well, we got it all right here too. Anything you want to say to your fans that are out there that have been watching you over the years? Is there any particular thing you want to say?
Well, I just appreciate the opportunity to be here. And if you get an opportunity to go to some of the signings and the fan fest, and come on up and talk and ask some questions. It's always nice to chat with the fans and reminisce. And I appreciate it very much.
Well, the old days are gone. But they can never take away our memories. No, we cannot take away our memories of the great names like Killer Kowalski. He was the king of the claw.
You had San Martino, Superstar. Northeast was a big, big territory because when I talked to you about the NWA and those parts of the wrestling that went on, every match was a main event, from Chick Donovan all the way down to all Les Thornton and all those great names that made wrestling what it was, and not what it is, and all this family stuff. And I tell you, they really, I got to say one thing, I watch it periodically, I turn it on, I don't like the Spanish, you can't understand what's going on. Same thing with the football on Sunday. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. But this storyline with the tribal chief, I gotta give someone a little bit of credit because they really turned it around. I never saw it coming. I never thought they were going to put the cousins and the Usos against the tribal chief and that other Paul Heyman. If you don't have a horseshoe up as you know what, nobody does, because he's been around making the money for a long time. If his head gets any bigger, they can sell it for a pumpkin on Halloween because, boy, I tell you. And he's had a lot of money. He's a lawyer. He knows all the ins and outs. He knows how to talk. He can make you mad. He can make you happy. And he just knows how to talk in the business. And it's all about talking now. It's all this. No tie. No one tackle, drop down, get it again. If people ever have seen my match with Bruno Sammartino against Ivan Koloff, where Koloff beat Bruno in 1971, come off the top rope with that deadly knee drop across Bruno's chest. You could hear a pin drop when they slammed him in that Madison Square Garden ring. It was a boxing ring, 4 ropes. You could see Bruno's back bounce off the canvas. And someday you'll see it. Someone's going to pick it up. But all my footage from the Boston Garden, someday it's going to pay off or whatever, not necessarily for the money. But everyone's been seeing them, the Mac Classics, for a long, long time on all these cable stations I'm on. Google me on YouTube, and you'll see all the great things. And, of course, look up all the great things that the Masked Superstar has done on YouTube, as well as his trips to Japan and all over the world. And you'll see all the great things that he's done. And remember one thing, there's only one Masked Superstar. And there's only one Rocky Raymond, the Boston Bad Boy. And if you get to see our stuff, tune in. It's going to be great. In our closing moments of the show, Masked Superstar, can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have in the future coming? I know you're retired now and you're doing a lot of signings, whether it be this or that. And what do you, how much longer in the longevity? And tell us why you have this longevity that you've had all these years with still doing all these signings and going to all these places.
Well, that's all thanks to the fans that want it, they want to see us. They want to see and reminisce about the events that we did in the past. So I just thank all the fans. The great fans have supported me all these years, and I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I tell you, it's a great way to end it. And I want to thank you for coming down and doing these particular shows. And I don't think I'm going to do any more live things because it's just very hard to get people in the cable situation. But this is a great cable station. I want to thank everybody here at Revere TV, whether it be Bob Dunbar or Andrew or anyone else that works at the facility, doing a great job. And just wish it was back to the old days. And Bob used to edit with me up on, he had the wire from the office on Broadway. We had a wire going to the City Hall. And Rocky Raymond Show was the only show basically that was really producing. I had stuff already done over the years. When Bob came over and took it over from Gary McCarthy and Big Rick Promise, may you rest in peace. He was a great, great speller. And the great, great things that we're doing here that Bob has done, like I said, he took it up from here and brought it to there. So we want to say right now, from the Masked Superstar and Rocky Raymond, and we want to give you a double shot of the point. And we'll see you next time on Memories of the Boston Garden.